Come on in, people. Come on in. Come in. I want to see y'all. I did a unexpected pop-up on y'all. Now come in, come in. Come on in, people, come on in. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? If y'all can hear me, let me know something. Hold on. I got to check something out to make sure everything's working right on the technical end. I see I got 12 viewers in here, but I don't see any messages. Y'all bear with me. Hold on for a second. Peace, fam. Peace, fam. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Right now, this is my first live stream, so I hope y'all can hear me. I really do hope y'all can hear me because I don't see anybody in the chat. I mean, I actually see it's 14 views, but I don't see any comments or anything. So I'm not really sure if someone's able to comment or what. So hopefully y'all can hear me. I'm gonna start it off by letting y'all know that I thought about this video right here because it's something one of my daughters went through. Okay, and it's kind of crazy because it's all dealing with how the public school institutions indoctrinate the children. All right. So let me get this orange in, man, before I go in, because I got to go in on this. My daughter, she really, had some courage. Something went on at the school, and she had a lot of courage, and she went through and, she told her father about it, which is me, So some people have to still kind of have their children in those institutions, some don't, So the situation is this. My daughter had one of my daughters had a situation with her school teacher. Now she's in their institutional system, and Prophet Noble Ali did say get a good European education, okay? But she knows what I teach her as well and what her mother teaches her, okay? So the thing is this: she's an honor student, and her teacher wanted her to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And when they went for the Pledge of Allegiance, my daughter didn't stand. Okay, now I never saw this coming. She just happened to call her mom one day and she told her, she was like, hey mom, they wanted me to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I didn't want to stand, And her mom called me and told me what happened. I was like, okay, what happened? So for y'all, come on in. For the people that's coming in, this is about how the public school institutions indoctrinate the children, with whatever they do, as far as like the history, how they say the pledge, allegiance, all of that old crap, stuff we really don't, have to do or whatever. So we're going to break all that down once I get out of this story, because I want y'all to see and hear the story that I got for y'all. So check this out. So her mom called me, right? And she told me that, hey, they tried to make us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I was like, well, okay, well, what should you do? And she was like, well, she didn't stand and she didn't want to say it. So I was like, okay, cool. You know me, I don't care about, shit like that. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So she said, well, I didn't want any issues at the school with our daughter. And, so I just told her to stand up, but she doesn't have to say anything. I said, well, if they have an issue, all they got to do is contact you, and, we'll handle it, because what people don't really understand is this. School teachers, quote unquote, right? They have constitutional oaths. Like a lot of people don't realize that they have constitutional oaths. Firefighters, police, anybody that's on any type of board of directors, especially with the school system or any type of public servant, they all have oaths. All right. I mean, it's verifiable on the record. So the thing is this. I said, well, again, if they got an issue, I mean, they can just contact us. But by her being the mother, I said, however you want to handle it, just handle it. So basically it came out to a situation where I asked my daughter, I said, hey, what did the teacher say? And is she a European or is she a Moor? She said she's a European. So I said, what did she say? Well, she said that my daughter was being disrespectful. Now you got to remember now, these teachers, they don't know anything either. They don't know anything, okay? Everybody's been indoctrinated. So we have to reverse out of this situation of indoctrination. That's my point. So I told my daughter, I said, well, do you understand why you're not standing? Because again, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any rights. So I told her, I said, I'm proud of you for the courage, but I got to break it down to you, baby girl, that you got to understand because you'll be challenged in this world. You'll be challenged in this world. Okay, you will be challenged in this world, especially when you stand for something. So I wanted her to understand that I was proud of her for having the courage at such a young age not to stand for something you don't understand, because you got to remember that, people. Let's go through it. Let's go through it. Let's go through it. Let's go through the Pledge of Allegiance. Now think about it. They start you off as a young child, because I can remember at the age of 4 or 5. And you got to think about the words that are used during the pledge. With 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds. All right, first off, it goes like this. All right, now this looks very familiar, right? They place their hand over their heart chakra, right? That's a form of indoctrination, okay? That's a form of indoctrination, all right? And what they do is they turn them towards the banner, okay? They turn them towards the banner and they say something like this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say the Pledge of Allegiance, right? And then we're gonna break it down. I'm about to break it down. I'm about to break it down, okay? Starts up like this. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now check this out. How many children understand that? How many grown people understand that? Because these grown people dumb as hell. I'm being real. I gotta keep it 100. I gotta keep it 100. These grown people just as dumb, right? So what we'll do is we're gonna break down the pledge, and like I told my daughter, you gotta understand your rights. You have to understand your rights. And people, something else people gotta understand is this: when you're dealing with contracts, because that's a contract. Like contracts can be verbal, implied, linear, written, and that's a verbal contract, but you got to understand this as well. Children are minors, so they can't legally be bound to it, but technically they do it anyway with the children. You know, it's just like the national anthem. People just stand up and have no idea about the original 4 sections. And I want to thank Brother Jeffrey L. Brother Jeffrey, for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate that, bro. I really appreciate that because I looked into it. I knew it was something always screwed up about it, but I looked into it and he was most definitely correct about that. So shout out to you, Brother Jeffrey. But we're about to break it down. We're about to break down this thing, all right? We're going to do it like this. I pledge of allegiance. First thing, a pledge. A pledge is a promise, okay? A pledge is a promise, okay? So let's go into the definition of pledge. I'm gonna go into one of these, sort of like an etymological dictionary. I like the old, y'all see that? I like these old raggedy books, you know, the old ugly books. The uglier, the better. I love them. If they ugly, I get them. If they raggedy, I get them, all right? So we're gonna look up the word pledge. That way we can break it down word for word. What does the pledge, when you pledge your allegiance, what are you pledging your allegiance to? All right. And for those that have just entered the room, again, this is about how the children are indoctrinated at such a young age, you know, via the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, check this out. Pledge, it says a solemn promise or of something, or to do or refrain from doing something. A solemn promise of something, or to do or refrain from doing something. Now, you can't tell me that children understand what a pledge really is. You know, they don't explain any of this stuff. They just, it's void ab initio. It's void from the beginning once you understand what it really is. Okay? So the law definition of it would be the act of delivering goods to another for security. All right. What we'll do now is we'll restate it. I pledge allegiance. No, I pledge allegiance. We'll look up the word allegiance. Let's look up allegiance. Most people have no idea what the word allegiance means. So we'll look it up. Allegiance, the obligation of a subject or citizen to his sovereign or government, duty owed to a sovereign or state. That's deep. That's deep. I'm gonna say that again. The obligation of a subject or citizen to his sovereign or government, duty owed to a sovereign or state. Now we got 4 classes of citizenship. We got number 1, which is national. We got number 2, which is a naturalized citizen. Number 3, we got subject, and we got the U.S. citizen thing, right? Number 4, we have alien. All right, so let me read it one more time so you can see where I'm coming from. The obligation of a subject or citizen to his sovereign or government, duty owed to a sovereign or a state. So basically, they're obligating the children to their foreign state. What foreign state? The foreign occupiers, the European guilds, the Albions. That's what it is. All right. So let's get back into it again. I pledge allegiance to the flag, All right. I got to break it down. I got to break it down. To the flag. How many of y'all know what a flag is? I'm pretty sure, you know, y'all know what a flag is. All right. I'm pretty sure y'all know what a flag is. All right, check this out. The thing that they're pledging their allegiance to is not a flag. All right. But I will show you what our flag is. I will show you that. I will show you that. All right, check this out. How many of y'all recognize that flag right there? Y'all recognize that? I know y'all recognize that. Let me read some. Because they're not pledging their allegiance to this. All right, that's why I say it's indoctrination. They're not pledging their allegiance to this. All right, this was chopped down, remember? Check this out. The national flag of the Moabite Moorish nation of North America, North Gate. This bright cherry red flag with a 5-pointed green star at its center is the national flag of the Moorish nation. All right. Have you ever thought why the Christmas colors are red and green and why a 5-point star adorns the top of the tree? The red and green colors and the 5-pointed green star used during the Christmas holiday are used in celebrating the taking down of the Moorish flag, thus the defeat of the Moorish nation. It has been taught in the United States of America's reconstructed history that George Washington, as a young boy, was so honest that he once said, "I cannot tell a lie. I chopped down the cherry tree." Did you really think that George Washington chopped down a real cherry tree? Notice that a cherry and the field of the Moorish flag are bright red, and that the leaf of a cherry and the 5-pointed star in the center of the Moorish flag are green. Do you recognize the symbology? Most of the reconstructed history is hidden in symbology, right? Right? All right, check this out. They say, "I pledge allegiance to the flag." Remember, they're not talking about this. They're talking about this, which is a banner. They're talking about this. They're talking about this. All right, check this out. In the United States of America's reconstructed history, the Star-Spangled Banner has been falsely referred to as the American flag. It must be understood, clarified, remembered, and not forgotten that America is 2 continents, an isthmus, and adjoining islands. This is a merchant trading banner for mercantile trade and commerce. It represents strictly the European occupational colonists and absolutely no one else. No one else. So you got to think about the original 13 colonies. You got to think about that. And who dwells on colonies? Colonists. Who are colonists? Pilgrims or peregrinos, or collectively Europeans. The 6 white stripes represent the English, Irish, French, German, Scottish, and Dutch. It further represents the political union of the European occupational colonist companies, thus the forming of the de facto juristic foreign corporate entity style as the United States of America. This is what people don't understand. People get it twisted, man. They think that the United States, because they say it so loosely and it's a generic term, they think that the United States is the land. Morocco is the land. I've proven it. I mean, it's been proven so many times. You know, I learned this years ago, and these Black leaders refuse to teach this truth because, of course, it would go into their pockets, and I get it, you know. But what people don't understand is this. The Articles of Incorporation to the United States Company, okay, was last filed July 15, 1925. Okay. It was filed at the Secretary of State in Florida. All right. In Florida. It had 3 directors, Harry O. Hoffman, Samuel Howard, and Arthur Britton. Arthur Britton. Okay. So this thing that they call the land, the United States, is not land. It's that what I just stated. It's a corporation, all right, at 150 Broadway, New York, New York. So check this out. What people got to see is this. The indigenous Moors chartered the European occupational colonists as the first process for the Albions to govern their own affairs. having limited jurisdiction under the Articles of Confederation. Now remember, that's a part of the Constitution because we have 4, all right, from 1781 to 1789. Secondly, jurisdictional issues were discussed and settled as it relates to commerce, trade, and taxation with the signing of the Peace and Friendship Treaty in 1787, thereby uniting the Moors and the English in a dually involved government with separate but interactive jurisdictional affairs. There were Moorish regencies that were in opposition to the signing of the Peace and Friendship Treaty with the European colonists. And as a result, battles continued between the Moors and the English. The treaty is indeed a binding document for both sides of the nation. Between 1788 through 1789, the indigenous sovereign Moors established and ordained the Constitution for the United States of America, deriving its authority from the Moors' Zodiac Great Seal Law of Peace. All right. So people, you got to know that, especially for the children, because lately, that's really what I've been focusing on, the children, because I know the children are being indoctrinated. But the adults are too. But the children are so innocent, so we got to protect them. We got to protect them, like for real. So again, I do have a daughter. One of my daughters is in one of their public school institutions, but she knows the business. Like I tell her, look, get that bull. I talk to her. I tell her just like this. I got to be real. I said, get that bullshit. Get it. Get that bullshit. But you got to get this shit at home too. You got to get it. Because when you get it at home, now you can look at both and say, okay, there's a contradiction somewhere. Let me check into here. Let me check into here. Let me see where the bullshit is. Okay. And the bullshit normally comes from them. All right. Not on my end, not on my end. So let's go back to it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I just broke that down in the incorporation paper. And to the republic for which it stands, boom. To the republic for which it stands, all right. This is mentioned in the American Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, about a republic. But if you notice, if you hear the people speaking, if you watch any form of news, social media, people always speak about democracy, which is a mobocracy. Democracy, democracy. And these black folks got that bad. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat, right? But they don't get it, right? So again, when you say republic, you're dealing with the people, you're dealing with the people and their decisions on what they do. All right. So let's go into Article 4, Section 4. I want to go into that just to read it. And look what I'm coming out of. I'm coming out of one of their books. It's Tennessee Code Annotated. And as you see right here, it says the United States Constitution, right? All right, check this out. It's Article 4, Section 4. Now remember, they always scream democracy, 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 right? I'm a Democrat, I'm a Democrat. And it's made to seem that you're a sellout if you claim to be a Republican or you're of the Republic. People look, the black folks, they do, he'll sell out. Oh, he this and that. Now I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna be real. I gotta go back years ago. Years ago, it was a woman I dated from the Florida territory. Check this out. And this was in my street days. So I didn't know anything about law, anything, but long story short, she worked for the city council at that time. And she was heavily into, I guess the politics within that, that corporate city that she domiciled. And I can remember, man, I always remember she always said Republic. She identified with being a Republican. And at that time, I was like straight in the streets. I was a nigga. I was like, oh, hell no, you're a Republican? Oh, hell no. But look, then I woke up. You feel me? I woke up. And excuse me. She told me this all the time, and I didn't get it. And I just feel like she was sent to me at that time to learn, to learn. And I know now, I get it now, even though she didn't quite get it then, but I get it now because the way she presented herself, the things that how she did things, it was totally different from the so-called Democrats, right? And I really thank her, to this day, now that I think about it, I thank her for opening my mind up to see that we can be with the Republic and understand what a Republic is. But anyway, Article 4, Section 4, it states Republican government. It says the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. Okay? But it's funny. It's funny how Democrat and democracy is always being spewed out here to the public, right? But you don't see this in the American Constitution because the American Constitution is very specific. All law, again, I know, all law is contract, all law is specific, right? So my point is how they indoctrinate not only the children and the adults through this madness. It's madness. So let's say it again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Got to ask ourselves. It says one nation. Which nation are they talking about? Are they talking about this side? Or are they talking about this side? Because it's a duality. So again, what did I just say? I just said that all law is specific. All law is contract, right? It's not specific. So as the children stand and say, one nation, they're assuming. You can't assume anything in law. You can't assume anything in life, period. You can't assume. You just can't. I tell my children all the time, assuming to make an ass out you. All right? Assuming to make an ass out you. Don't assume anything. You have to know things, all right? You have to know. I want to read something. Check this out. We'll go into this side, and then we'll go into their side so we can be more specific. Now, most people say this is evil. All right, yeah. For some reason, they say it's evil. All right. Black people are some of the most superstitious people you will ever meet in your life. I'm glad I'm not black. I'm glad I'm not black. I am. Thank you, Allah. I'm not black. The Great Seal of the continental United States, Moorish nation, represents the de jure sovereign authority of the indigenous Moors, emanating from birthrights and inheritance. That is, the Moors have sovereign authority over their jurisdictional affairs and the land of the Al-Marak. Al-Marak. Al means descendant of Marak, descendant of Moroccans, right? North, Central, and South America and the adjoining islands. Furthermore, the Great Seal represents the federal republican government with duly involved, separate, but interactive jurisdictional affairs, federal and state. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787 AD, 1207 Moorish calendar year, signed between His Imperial Majesty of the Emperor of Morocco and the United States of America, is the lawful document that has formed the alliance between the Moors and the occupational European colonists. All right. So again, they always have me thinking that something like this is evil, right? Right? They always say this is evil. They say 13 is evil. Look, we got to get back on our scale, all right? We got to get back on our scale. Look at that. I mean, in my unconscious days, yeah, I probably would, because I grew up in the Christian era. So I probably would think that was evil, because I used to be superstitious as a child, all right? Just look at it. Just look at it. But they place emphasis on the solar calendar. All right, stuff like Heru, Ra, Jesus, Christ, Mithra, Zodiacus, but they suppress the lunar calendar. They suppress the lunar calendar. They suppress it. Think about it. The lunar calendar, it ties into the number 13. They always say the number 13 is unlucky. If you go into a lot of buildings downtown, they don't have the number 13th floor in that building. All right. The lunar calendar also ties into fertility, agriculture, nurturing, earth, anything that's dealing with mother. Okay. Anything that's dealing with mother. So they always suppress things like this, or the Baphomet. They say that's evil. Everything is evil, right? But at the end of the day, they're in their little lodges practicing our science, practicing our math, you know, and they whooping y'all ass with it. Excuse my language. I got to keep it raw. They whooping y'all black ass with it. Wake up. Wake up. Check this out. Right? You see that? This is their side. Now think about it. They say one nation under God. I just showed you the pyramid, the Great Seal, right? Now I'm showing you the other side, their seal. So we're going to read it. The seal of the United States of America. The seal of the United States of America represents the limited jurisdictional sovereign authority of the Perigonus Albinus, the occupational European colonists emanating from war and ultimately resulting to the signing of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship in 1787, Moorish calendar year 1207. You got to remember, 580 plus years was added to the calendar. All right. The Moorish calendar between that signing, 1207. All right. Their year, 1787. All right. The occupational European colonies only have sovereign authority over their jurisdiction affairs. But check this out. We give them jurisdiction by, again, going to their courts, filling out their documents without reserving our rights. All right. Thinking that they have say-so in our Moorish affairs, when again, they're not Moors, and it's not their land. It's not their land. So no matter how much you don't like it, that's the deal. The occupational European colonies only have sovereign authority over their jurisdiction affairs and not over the land of our Morocco, North, Central, and South America and the adjoining islands. The seal of the United States of America further represents the states, occupational European colonies side of the dually involved government, federal and state with separate but interactive jurisdictional affairs. The secrets of why these two seals appear together on the back of the unconstitutional Federal Reserve Bank $1 bill note distribute in the foreign jurisdiction, United States of America. But that goes back to Article 1, Section 10, when it speaks about the debts and validations and dealing with gold and silver and the coins, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say go back into that to look at, to check that out. All right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it, because I know some of y'all remember this Pledge of Allegiance thing. I started at the beginning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Gotta stop it. Under God. What in the hell is that? All right. Let's assume that they're talking about some guy in the clouds, okay? And as a child, that may be all you know. All right, that may be all you know. Some guy in the clouds that's doing something. I don't know, right? Under God, or it could mean governmental ordnance department, or it could mean geeks on deck. Who knows what it means? All right, again, assuming will make an ass out of yourself, all right? All right, don't assume anything. So again, back to my daughter, I told her, I said, look, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. But I love your courage, baby girl. I love your courage. You hear me? I love your courage. All right. That's how it starts. All right. But it has to be balanced. It has to be balanced. All right. So again, people don't understand that the teachers They have constitutional oaths. The principals at the board, they have it. They have it. They have oath. They have ethical codes that they have to live by as well. Yes, they do. Yeah, they sure do. You better know it. You better know it. So again, under God, indivisible. Let's look into the word indivisible, because hell, I didn't even know what indivisible meant. I mean, let alone a 5-year-old. Let's be real. And my daughter's not 5; she's a teenager. So I'm going into the beginning of the indoctrination when I first remember saying it. I remember saying it at a very early age. All right, we're going to indivisible and see what it means in a law dictionary. All right, this is what I deal with. It's heavy. I love it. I got this years ago and I still deal with it because it's that ish. It's that ish. All right, we're going to go into indivisible. Now I know some of y'all out there smarter than me, so y'all may know already, But check this out. Indivisible, not susceptible of division or apportionment, inseparable, entire, thus a contract, covenant, consideration. Man, that sounds like some of the rules that deal with contract law. That sounds like the stuff that deal with contracts. So again, minors can't be bound to a contract because they lack the intelligence to understand what the agreement really is. All right, so the Pledge of Allegiance is a contract. Remember, contracts can be written, they can be linear, they can be implied. Man, it's all types of contracts. All right, and that's real. So they're entering the children into their indoctrination of whatever it is they do. All right, so they can stay in fear and let them know we're your masters. You don't have God, so to speak. We're your God, the Albions, the Perigonus. All right. And I try not to, I don't call them out of their name. Back in the day, I used to call them out of their name. When I was black, when I identified as being black, I'm going to tell you something, kind of off the subject. I got to get on this. When I identify myself as black, and if you look at me, I'm not black. I mean, no one's black. I mean, this may be black, that may be black, but I'm not black. All right. And I know now that it's a status, right? But I remember that when I called myself black or identified as black, I was angry as hell all the time. Man, I was angry. I was like, I was on some fuck the cracker type shit. And again, I might use some profanity in it, here and there. So if you don't like it, hey, you know what to do. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just got to keep it 100. I got to keep it 100. All right. I got to keep it 100. But I can remember being so mad and the cracker, man, fuck these peckaroos, fuck these motherfucking honkies, man, fuck them. It was like, fuck. And if you notice, the guys in the Black conscious community, that's how they are. They're angry all the time. So that's that lower self from here down. We have to understand how to operate from here up, even though here down keep us balanced from here up, where we must graduate. We must graduate. All right. Got a little cayenne pepper and organic lemon juice. Good. Maybe like 50,000, the cayenne or whatever, like 50,000. It's good. It'll help cleanse you out. Excuse me for a second. But let's get back to it. Where did I leave off? I left off at under God. So again, you can't assume. We cannot assume, right? So now we know that's up in the air. But we also know that they're directing the children and the people to what benefits them. All right, we know this now. We get it. All right. So let's do it again, people. Because I haven't seen anyone just kind of go through it like this. So I said, you know what? Since my daughter came to me like this and she let me know what's up, I said, hey, I'm gonna do a video. I was about to have her in it and things didn't go up right. So I just said, nah, I ain't putting her in it. You know, I was gonna have her kind of like behind the camera, you know, I wasn't gonna show her face, but I was gonna have her tell her story, you know, but forget that. I'm daddy finna tell the story. All right, check this out. I pledge allegiance to the flag. And notice when they do it, everybody looks serious. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. I just wrote down. And liberty and justice for all. And then everybody sit down. What the hell is that? All right. Let's look up liberty. Let's look up liberty. They're not breaking this down. They're not breaking this down to the people. Let's look up liberty. How in the hell is it liberty and justice? Now, let me go into the definition first, and I'm going to tell you what her quote-unquote teacher said to her after the fact. Let's go into liberty. We got to go into liberty. All right. The first word is freedom. The first word is freedom. Freedom, exemption from extraneous control. Now remember, the teacher, she's playing the authoritarian, and she wants my daughter to be the person that's insubordinate. Well, that's subordinate. That's passive. We'll say that passive. Okay. Freedom, exemption from extraneous control. Freedom from all restraints except such as are justly imposed by law. Now check this out. Did you say freedom? It said exemption, right? But she told my daughter that she was being disrespectful. But what people don't realize is you're protected under the First Amendment for things of that nature, and we'll get into that. All right. She said my daughter was being disrespectful because she wasn't standing with the class. So my daughter called her mom first, and our mom called me because, of course, they know I know what's up. So I said, okay, well, tell me what's going on. I want to hear it. Well, she said the teacher, they stood for the Pledge of Allegiance. And hell, I didn't even know they still say the Pledge of Allegiance at their age. I'm like, wow, you know. But she said they stood up, and my daughter continued to sit. And the teacher walked over and said, hey, stand up. You know, this is we're saying our allegiance to the flag or whatever. And my daughter just politely, on an intelligent tone, explained to her that she didn't want to stand, you know. And the European teacher, quote unquote, told my daughter that she was being disrespectful and she would stand, but she doesn't have to say anything. So again, that's that power trip again, right? So I said, well, what did you tell her? And she told her that, well, I just told her, you know, to keep the BS down, just stand up, but you don't have to say anything. So eventually my daughter stood and she didn't say anything. But if you think about it, and I left it alone because, again, that's a mother. A mother. I'm letting the mother, I say what I have to say, but I let the mother handle the due diligence, okay? But when things get critical, I'm jumping in on their ass. Understand that, okay? Understand that. All right, you better know it. Now, my daughter said that the teacher said she was being disrespectful. But again, this is a power trip. This is an ego trip. Whether or not the teacher actually know that you don't have to stand for that BS, because everybody don't think the same. So you're gonna force me to stand up for this BS? I got an old story, real quick story. Years ago, I just thought about something. Years ago, I was working on a job. I'll never forget it. It was a guy, a younger guy. I think he was like 22 at the time. And he was from, I believe, Saudi Arabia. I believe he was from Saudi Arabia. And I remember his appellation, it was Ali. I remember this. And I can remember that he was real quiet and we was having like I guess sort of like a meeting, a board meeting or something. I don't know. But when the higher ups walked out, the black people start talking about what they talk about, nigger crap, right? They talked about church. They talked about all this stuff, right? And I sat back and I noticed, I didn't entertain it, but I noticed that Ali, he didn't look so comfortable. And it was like, about 15 of us in a room. I'm pretty quiet too, in situations like that. So I don't entertain that garbage. But I noticed that this guy, again, was from Saudi Arabia. He didn't entertain it. He didn't say anything. But I noticed about 10 minutes after the black niggers were discussing their Christendom, what their masters were giving them, he left the room. I didn't think anything about it. He came back. I still didn't think anything about it. And they continued to talk about their niggerdom, right? How about maybe 15 minutes after he came back, Ali, one of the big guys came in and he had to speak to us immediately. And he said, hey, Ali just came and told us that he felt very, very, very uncomfortable about the religious things that you guys was talking about as far as church and Christendom or whatever you were talking about. But this guy is not from here. You must quit immediately. If not, somebody's getting fired. If not, everybody. Wow. Wow. So I just remembered that. The point is, people, if you don't know you have rights, you don't have any. All right. And that's why I explained to my daughter, I say, I really admire your courage, but you have to understand when you stand for something, you have to know what you're standing for and why. So upon a challenge, you can intelligently put the information out to the person that's challenging you. All right. All right. Liberty and justice for all. Let's go to justice. And we'll sum it up with the Pledge of Allegiance. Justice. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. All right. Man, I wish I could see y'all in the chat, man. Like, again, I apologize. This is my first time doing a live stream. I can't see anything. I'll make sure next time I do it that I can see what y'all saying. I have no idea. It's like I'm talking to a blank screen. It's cool though, but I wish I can interact with you guys because, matter of fact, once I tighten it up, I might do some again tonight. And I just want to kind of talk to whoever support me. We just gonna talk. We're gonna build. You can ask me questions. I mean, if I know, I'll give you the answer. If I don't know, hey, we'll figure it out. So I can just kind of communicate and build with those that support me and support this Moorish Divine National Movement. All right, we're going to look into justice. Y'all bear with me, bear with me. Jurisdiction. Almost there. Okay, justice. In common law, the title given, well, this is speaking about, this is basically speaking about like magistrates and things of that nature, but we'll still go into it just to see what justice mean in different, I guess, jurisdictions or different matters or whatever. It says justice, the title given in England to the judges of the King's Bench and the Common Pleas, and in America to the judges of the Supreme Court of the United States and of appellate courts of many of the states. It is said that this word in its Latin form was properly applicable only to the judges of common law courts, while the term judex designated the judges of ecclesiastical, and other courts. All right, let me go down. Let me find out. Well, I know. Let me check this other one. Yeah, I got it. Bear with me, people. I'm glad I see it's like 58 viewers in the room, man. I wish I could see y'all speaking, but like I said, it's my first time. I appreciate y'all coming, but I cannot see anything, I just hope it's obvious that y'all can hear me, because I don't think y'all would be here this long and y'all couldn't hear me. So let me try to find justice again. I want to go to what the assumption of justice. Almost there, people. All righty. Okay, the quality of being just, righteousness, or moral rightness to uphold the justice of a cause. That's like the first and second definition. Now, the only reason I wanted to go into that is just to show you that there was no justice, even if people assume what justice meant. Again, we know that justices are magistrates, or what they call judges of the Supreme Court, or whatever they want to call it. And we also know it's supposed to be of some form of rightness. All right, we know this as well. So my thing is that there was no justice. All right. But I also told her mother this. I said, look, I said, go ahead, that's cool. I said, if you want to understand, that's fine with me, because, she can't be out here like me, cutthroat with it. So, okay, cool, understand. But she will not say a word. All right. She will not say a word because it wasn't explained to her. And I asked her, I said, did they explain any of these words to you? She said, no. I said, why not? I don't know. Okay, well, that's a good reason not to say it, So let's go into, let me find this First Amendment. Let's go into the First Amendment, because earlier I spoke about peaceably protesting. And honestly, I mean, I don't know if you want to call that a protest. I guess you can call it a protest, but you don't have to do that. Just because the majority of the people do something, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm gonna give you an example. When I would go to their courts back in the day, and they say, all rise, and this is what all the black nigger zombies would do. They stand up. All rise. This is what they do, right? This is what I'll do. Now, the reason they say, all rise, and everybody stand up, they're trying to see who's conscious. And every single time, out of maybe 50 or 60 people, it was me that stood alone every time. All right. So this is how the magistrate can see, okay, who am I dealing with? Okay, because the people that stand are the zombies. The people that stay seated are the ones that are aware. All right, and I'm aware. I'm totally aware. I'm totally aware. All right, look, I want to go into this First Amendment. All right. I want to go into the First Amendment. That way we can see what the First Amendment is all about. Because it's deep, people. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. Hold on just a second, y'all. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. All right, I'm back. All right, check this out. We'll go into Amendment 1. It says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress or grievances. So I had to break that down to her and let her know that you got rights, baby girl, but you got to know your rights. And I love you and respect you for your courage. But you have to understand what you're getting into. You got to understand because you will be challenged. You will be challenged. That's without a doubt. Okay, but only the strong survive. Only the strong survive, right? And check this out. You know how earlier I spoke of how the teachers have oaths, they have ethical morals that they have to stand by as well because they're public servants. They're dealing with people and they're dealing with people's children. So they have to have something, but again, people don't know this. And they conveniently forget about this, the quote unquote teachers, the principals, the people of the board. They forget about this. They don't really put it out there for people to just, like, so it can be within their hands, their close reach. All right. Because they don't want you to know. So I explained to my daughter and her mother, and I let them know, look, do what your mom tell you. It's cool. Do whatever she tell you, do it. But if it get critical, now I know when to draw the line, but if it get critical, then that's when we'll step in and handle it. We haven't had any issues so far, but I told her, I said, you're not saying anything. And her mother said, well, actually her mother said it first. She said, don't say anything, but just go ahead and stand so it won't be any BS because you're already an honor student, and, within their jurisdiction or whatever, however they go. But just do whatever you got to do. All right. And if I need to step in, if a mother needs to step in, we'll step in together and we'll handle it. The situation will be rectified without a doubt. All right. Again, let's go into, I'm going to the Supreme Law of the Land. Supreme Law of the Land. As a studious Moor, you must know that what Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought to us, he was already here, but he just made us aware of this in this day and time of the American Constitution. All right. We have to enforce it because they're obligated to it. All right. We have to. Again, for all these black guys, they always talking crap. That's why I don't, I try not to engage in that BS because right now, all of these people, all they do is argue. That's it. They just argue and fight. If you just notice that the black conscious community, I don't care who it is, what group, organization, the Hebrew Israelites, the Moors, the black guys, the niggas, the thugs, the dykes, lesbians, queers, punks, sissies, faggots, all of them arguing. And none of these black guys are countering what the European Albions are doing. They refuse to. So we know who's been neutralized. We know, we get it. That's why I don't waste my time. Debate what? Debate what? There's no debating. Debate what? Are you serious? I'm not debating. There's nothing to debate. Think about the prefix D. Take away. I'm not trying to, look, I want to teach my people. I want to teach people that's sincere in wanting to know, and people that already know, they can help teach me as well, and we can build vice versa. That's what I do. I don't have time to argue with these fags. Connotatively speaking, I don't have time. I got too much going on. I have children, I have a personal life, I have business I run. I don't have time. I'm a grown ass man. All right? Understand this. I'm a grown ass man. I don't have time. All right, let's go to Article 6 because they forget about this. And they say, well, the Constitution doesn't apply. Okay, well, say that to the people that voluntarily take oaths. Say it to them. Don't say that to me. Say that to them. I had a European guy a while back. He's actually subscribed to me. And he said this. I just thought about that. He was like, well, you know, the United States Constitution really doesn't apply. And he left some type of link. And I simply told him, you know what? Tell the public servants that voluntarily take the oath to it. Okay? Because you're wasting your time telling me that when I enforce it on a regular. Okay? Article 6 is dealing with debts validated, supreme law of the land, and oath of office, because people really don't know that these people have oaths, and we got to hold them to their oath. All right? We got to hold them to their oath. It says all debts, contracted, and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation, this Constitution, and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. Okay. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. The senators and representatives before mentioned, and the members of the several state legislatures, and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath. They shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. All right. But no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. Now, it says they have an oath. A lot of people ask me, where's their oath? Well, it all depends on who is it, who you're speaking about. It all depends on, are they with the city? Are they with the state? Are they federal? I mean, we have to be specific. Again, we have to be very specific. That kind of brings me back to my book that I've written. All right, check this out. The book I've written is this right here, Public Official Bonds. All right, this is a whole nother story right here, but the reason I'm bringing my book out is because I want to go into how I had a conversation with a guy from this Secretary of State, asking him about the oaths and bond information, and he gave me the information. All right. So when y'all get a chance, make sure y'all go on my website. All right, PublishedInfo.net, and get this. Whoever got it, they already know it is what it is. But I wouldn't really just like say go out here and just straight enforce this. You really got to know what's up before you start enforcing the bond situation. But I think it's a good learning tool. Well, I know it's a good learning tool. But check this out. When I contacted this guy from the Secretary of State, because it's a video I got, I believe it's called What Judges Do Behind the Scene, okay? And if you look at the thumbnail, it's of a European woman that has he has a real pale face with bright red lipstick. That was the actual magistrate that gave me hell. Okay, that's her. I found a picture and I said, let me upload it. You know, she gave me hell. She was an Eastern Star, like it was going down, you know, it was plenty of times me and her, like we really butt heads. But my point is, I wanted to find out her information, like her bond information, her oath information. So in this book, I wrote, you know, several people, emailed several people to try to find this information. It actually wasn't that hard. So if you say you want to know where their oaths are, again, we got to know, are they with the city? Are they with the state? Are they federal? All right, she was state. All right. Or are they with the county? All right. Check this out. On page 18, it was an email that was sent to a woman named Crystal. I'm going to read it to you. And I started off by saying, hi, Crystal, I am Mario. Early last month in June, I spoke with Cody York, with the state of Tennessee's Secretary of State in regards to proof of public officials' oaths, bond information, delegated authority, their obligations, etc. I requested a copy of Judge Karen L. Massey's oath via Mr. York, and you responded with ease. And Mr. York forwarded the info to me. Since this was done, in short, I have a list of public officials' info. we are requesting now. Please review our lawful request. Now, check this out. I found the oath, and I actually put the oath in my book just to show people that these judges and the people that I named, they have oaths. Like, they most definitely have oaths, right? So I'm going to show you her oath, and then I'll read her oath once I can find the page. Okay, here we go. All right, on page 4, this is her oath. So I published it in my book. You see that? You see that? That's her signature, everything. Look at that. This is her oath. So check this out. I'm going to read it. So this is just really going into me talking about oaths and bonds because some people just don't know what they are. All right. So it says, oath of office, state of Tennessee, county of Shelby. I, Karen Massey, that's the woman that's on the thumbnail, that's on the video I did about what judges do behind the scenes. I, Karen Massey, being about to enter upon the duties of judge of Division 11 of General Sessions Criminal Court of Shelby County, Tennessee, to which office I was elected on the 3rd day of August 2006, do solemnly affirm that I will perform with fidelity the duties of the office of judge of Division 11 of the General Sessions Criminal Court of Shelby County, Tennessee, to which office I am about to assume. I further solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution. Let me point that out because y'all think I'm bullshit. See that? Look at that. To support the Constitution of the state of Tennessee, and I further solemnly affirm that I will administer justice without respect of persons and do equal rights to the poor and rich, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon me as a judge to the best of my skill and ability. Man, that sounds good. She won me over. She won me over. No, she didn't. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I got before her, she acted a damn fool. And she did none of the which I just read. All right. Check this out. Let me go back to the email just to show you about the bonds, well, not the bonds, but the oaths and the locations, whatever, just to show you how what they do is what they do. Cody York, this is the guy. Now remember, I emailed Crystal and I spoke to her about the guy, Cody York from the Secretary of State, and how he forwarded her oath to me. So it was more oaths and bond information that I wanted to know. And where's it located? So Cody York finally got back with me. And this is rare because they really don't get back with you. They normally ignore you. Cody said, Mario, I was unable to find a copy of the oath in our office. In the past and still today, there is some ambiguity in whether certain offices file their oaths with their respective county clerk or with the Secretary of State. We contacted the Shelby County clerk and they sent us a copy of the oath on file there. That's the oath that I just read to you guys. Okay, so they play a lot of games, they use a lot of trickery. So it was actually at the county clerk's office when it should have been at the Secretary of State. So you have to do a lot of digging, you have to do a lot of brain picking. You got to really, you got to be an investigator, like truly. You got to really be like an investigator, you know, to do this because it's like a needle in a haystack. All right, now check this out. He also forwarded to me this. He said, I also found this Tennessee code annotated that may help you in regards to bonds. And I published this in my book. Check this out. It says 8-19-102, place of filing bonds. Copies of bonds as evidence, all right? The bonds. It says, the official bonds of county officials required by law to execute such bonds shall be transmitted to the comptroller of the treasury or the county clerk for safekeeping as the law so requires, immediately upon their execution, approval, and recordation in the office of the county register of deeds. The bonds of all other county officials and employees shall be transmitted to the office of the county clerk for safekeeping, immediately upon their execution, approval, and recordation in the office of the county register of deeds. Where suit is necessary to enforce the obligation of any such bond or undertaking, the comptroller of the treasury or the county clerk shall make such bond available to the proper authorities. Who's the authority? We are. But you people, you got to act like you're the authority. Okay? You got to act like you're the authority. That's why I always say, which role are you playing? Master or servant? I play master. A copy of the official bond duly certified by the comptroller of the Treasury or the county clerk is admissible as evidence in any suit on the bond to prove the execution of the bond and any condition thereof. The official bonds of state officials and state employees shall be lodged for safekeeping at an office designated by the governor. But it wasn't specific right there. So the governor is the CEO of the corporate state. So where in the hell would it be if it's designated by the governor? But they're not saying. All right. So again, and he says, I hope this helped. This is Cody Ryan York, Director of Publications, Secretary of State of Tennessee. Now, he was very helpful. I give it to him. And I just out of the blue, I just emailed and I called him. I actually spoke with him. Sometimes it's good to actually talk to these people because they don't do any work. They sit back, they get fat, they don't do any work. So sometimes you gotta like get at them and come at them and let them know, hey, what's this? What's that? I thought you have to do this. You need to do this. Put them back in check. All right. I'm gonna be cutting it out in a few minutes, but I will be trying to do try to do another live maybe later on tonight. So hopefully y'all tune in. I won't have a specific subject or anything. I just kind of build with the people that support me. If you got any questions, I'm gonna try to make it where I can actually read the comments, and that way we can build. But again, people, the Pledge of Allegiance. Back to the beginning, the Pledge of Allegiance is a promise. It's a way to indoctrinate the children at a very young age, and we really need to get them away from those places, if you can, because it's not that easy, but it can be done. We need the children because they are the future generation. All right. And the way I see things now with how things go with the children, it's pretty rough right now. It's pretty, we're like in a crisis. We're in a crisis right now. And it's really sad, but we got to step up as conscious Moors, and we got to get this information to the people. You don't have to force it on them because it's a lot. It's a lot. You just gotta generally just get it to them when you can, and little by little. It's a lot. It's a lot. I know when I first got the information, I've always been open-minded though. So when I got the information, it didn't scare me about the quote unquote religious side of Islam or whatever. I was always open to certain things. So it didn't really bother me. But I know a lot of the Black Christians or superstitions, Black folks, they have an issue because they first think that they have to leave their master, the European master. So if you tell them that, they get, oh no, I can't leave my European master. That's my buddy. That's my guy. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna try to do something tonight. Again, hopefully everything go well where I can actually like communicate with you guys, with your sisters, with your brothers and sisters, and let's do it from there. I'm gonna end it like this. Peace and love. I appreciate y'all coming out, checking it out, and I will be back ASAP. You understand? Peace and love. It's long. Get your study on. Enforce what the prophet explained us to enforce, the American Constitution. Peace and love.